Macro photography doesn't have to be limited to insects and flowers. In this project, we're going to get creative and turn a bowl of cereal into a swimming pool. When you buy a macro lens, your photography takes on a whole new perspective. It's easy to think the macro is all about capturing one-to-one shots of insects or plants, but macro can be just as creative as any other genre of photography. By adding some miniature models to a bowl of cereal, we're going to create some really fun and inventive images. You don't need fancy lighting for this project, but you will need good midday light if you're using natural light. The light box we built in our project from issue 147 is ideal for this shoot, as your cereal bowl fits perfectly inside and will be extremely well lit. You could also use a macro ring light if you have one, though this will produce very directional light and might create shadows that you don't want in your finished image. We're using a set of cheap continuous lights, bought for less than £20 on Amazon. We're going to shoot onto a piece of white poster board, which we've set up on an ironing board to give us good working height. Now we can start building our set. We've chosen an interesting brand of cereal with lots of fun shapes and bright colours to make the image more interesting. Filling the bowl with cereal and milk doesn't produce very photogenic results, as it looks too dense and crowded. So instead, use thick yogurt and place some individual pieces of cereal as if they're floating on the surface. The yogurt also stops the cereal going soggy and sinking. Now it's time to place the miniatures onto the set. Some of our swimmers will be standing or sitting on the edge of the pool, so we're going to use blue tack to keep them held in place. We've got some paddling swimmers, which would have sunk had we used milk, but will be buoyed by the yogurt. Use a steady hand or a pair of tweezers to put them into place. We're going to place our final character in pride of place atop one of the pieces of cereal. We've chosen a colourful piece and we've dug his feet in to keep him nice and steady. With our set built, it's time to set up our camera. We're using the Canon EF 100mm f2.8 macro IS lens, a brilliant macro lens with a fast aperture and close focusing. Find your angle, then secure the camera on your tripod. We're using the Manfrotto B3 Norissimo with a ball head, which enables us to make those quick and fine-tuning adjustments. When shooting macro with an f2.8 lens, you can create a razor-thin slice of depth of field. There's no correct aperture to use, just the one that produces the effect that you want. So if you want to really isolate a single character in the scene, you can shoot at 2.8, and if you want to get the whole bowl in focus, you can stop all the way down to 32. Try shooting the whole scene as well as close-up frames of individual vignettes. Here are some different angles and compositions from our setup. With a bit of thought, macro photography can be every bit as creative as portrait or editorial work. And plus, you even get a free meal once you finish shooting.